Oh my goodness. I think we actually made it without anything breaking. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment Gaming and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role playing. I am your host, Bridget Jeffries, but I will not be serving as your keeper of arcane lore this afternoon because we have a special guest keeper, the one, the only Evan Perlman, who, I'm just going to go ahead and embarrass him like he's not on the call right now, is a best-selling creator on the Miskatonic Repository and with several of his 7 Seed supplements. He is a keeper. He is a community leader. Several of the people who are watching live right now are either published because of Evan or have been inspired because of Evan or have been in one of his group projects that he has put forth where he has organized, paid for fantastic art, and then split the royalties with all of the creators. He is also one of the organizers for Miskatonic Repository Con. So, Evan, I'm super grateful that you are here. I will actually allow you to do your own introduction in a minute. I just happen to really love you, and I wanted to get all that off of my chest. Evan will be running for us his newest supplement on the Miskatonic Repository by the name of Debutantes Dagon. More on that in just a second. But first, a couple quick announcements. We are hosting another giveaway this afternoon. I can see a bunch of you have already hopped on that. Winning. Thank you so much. Evan will be giving away a complimentary PDF copy of Debutantes Dagon to one lucky winner. To enter, please put exclamation point Dagon or bang Dagon into the chat. You do have to be a follower of the Symphony channel to win. We will draw that at the end of the game, and then I will coordinate with Evan to send you your complimentary copy by way of Drive-Thru RPG. If you can't stay into the end of the stream, no problems. If we pull your name, I will make a good faith effort to reach out to you via that Twitch email messaging thing. So check your Twitter messages just in case you were the winner. Last announcement, if you like this content and would like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon. You get access to talkback, free merch, literal free merch. I just literally shipped out the rest of the free physical copies of Pirate Board to all of the Symphony backers, poll privileges, and more. You can see more on that on patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We are also currently hosting the Symphony Entertainment Pettyville Bingo. I'm going to throw up a quick screenshot of somebody's bingo card. Basically, this is some bullshit that Bucho and I came up with while talking with Rena, and it's absolutely it's ridiculous. Symphony has a reputation for dropping several balls when it comes to our streaming content, and we're very proud of these balls that we have dropped. We polled our backers, and we came together with like all the common things that are typical to happen, like someone forgets to unmute, the video on demand was lost, I hate you, Rena, chat bots are broken, a whole bunch of fun things. Basically, if you're a backer, holler at me. We'll get you a card. Once you declare bingo, I will be sending you a Symphony box, which is a whole box of nothing but horror, tabletop role-playing content plus some gift cards. The box will be valued right around $200. So this contest will be going until someone declares bingo. And I think Rena already got a mark today because this stream started on time. Small victories, especially with this being merry time zones. Last thing. I have reviewed red lines with the cast and crew. We all understand that the X card is in play. X's can be sent to Evan via private message in Zoom, or you can just visibly X us where we can all see you. As always, no questions asked, no judgment passed. So, without further ado, let's unveil this cast. Starting with Newman. Baby, tell us who you are, tell us where people can find you, tell us some of the awesome things you do. It is a very long list, and I'm personally excited to rehear it just because I really love you, and I'm super excited that you're back on stream.
Well, I am lovely to be here. Very excited to be here. Yeah, my name's T.A. Newman. I'm the host of the Miskatonic Playhouse. We're very big fans and huge friends of Symphony Entertainment, and we have our season 2 upcoming. We've just kind of finished our season 1 series with The Prisoner's Dilemma, just kind of finishing, I think, last week. So we've got season 2 coming up. We're very excited. We've got lots going on with a matinee channel and a fringe channel, but we also have ongoing our Cult and Culpability Regency long-form storytelling. So please check that out. That's still running, and we're coming to the end of season 2. We've just recorded the finale literally the other night, which was all kinds of horror, but like good horror, not like oh my god horror, like oh my god horror. That's the kind of horror it was. But if you are for some reason interested in anything I've written, I have 3 best-selling scenarios on Drive Through RPG, which you can buy either as the PDF or on print on demand. And that is the aforementioned The Prisoner's Dilemma. There is also Secret Santa, which I've heard is good to play any time of the year, not just in December. And Be My Valentine, which again is not just a February special, although I think those two tend to have, good seasonal topical things and moments. But yeah, please come and check us out at the Playhouse. But more importantly, the Playhouse is about community. And if you're out there and you've written something and you'd like it to reach out to more people, you'd like us to play it and produce it and show it to people, then get in touch with us at miskatonicplayhouse@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Newman, I love your face so much. And I'm going to interrupt. I'm just going to slide back in, Evan, before you hop in. The last time Newman was on Symphony Streams, he was running one of his scenarios that was inspired by content that he wrote for Evan. In Hometown Horror. So when I tell you this community literally just swings around each other, loves each other, and celebrates each other, I love you guys and you're amazing. Evan, please tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you, and then I'm going to shut up and get out of the driver's seat because this is your game.
Yeah, Evan Perlman. Hello. I am a writer for Call of Cthulhu for 7th Sea. I am a community organizer. I want to plug the idea of a community project real quick. If you have not written before, if you're nervous about it, if you don't know where to start, we have had so many people springboard off of our community projects. Way back when we did one for occupations for Call of Cthulhu, Bridget was part of that. We did more recently, we did Hometown Horrors, which is people writing short entries of what's weird and creepy in their towns. Newman was part of that and took that to this stream. It is an encapsulation of everything that I love about the hobby. It's a great opportunity to get support and mentoring and reviewing. And it's a lot of fun. It's just great to be part of this big, huge thing. So, we'll periodically, I'll have calls for those out in other forums like the Miskatonic Repository Creator Circle on Facebook. But go and organize your own. Invite me to stuff. If I can, I'll do it. If I'm too busy because I'm old and I have kids, I'll tell you. It's great. It's great. So you can find my group projects, Hometown Horrors Volumes 1 and 2 are both bestsellers on Drive Through RPG. My solo scenario, Dreamhouse, a spiritual sequel to The Haunting, is going to print on demand soon. We're doing a little magic. I'm combining it with somebody else's scenario for a little 1-2 punch. And that's it. I've got projects coming out with Newman in the future and some of the people on the chat. Got a lot of weird, fun stuff coming out. Find me on Facebook. Find me on the Symphony Discord. Find me, poking around the edges of the Playhouse. And I'm just so proud of you guys, Bridget and Newman. I've gotten to watch you guys go from 0 to 1,000 and just take off like rockets. It's been amazing.
It's going to be more fun on the other side of the hill. Going from 1,000 to 0.
Listen, right?
Yeah. I think the way gravity works, it would continue accelerating, but in a less fun way and more of a way. So yeah. All right. So I guess we can get started.
Can I slide in with one more really quick introduction?
Yeah,
please. I'm so sorry. I just want to say there's a whole ass Mike Diamond in the chat right now, and that just makes my soul very happy.
A tip of the imaginary cap for the whole ass Michael Diamond.
Please continue. There's a whole ass Michael Diamond here. I just needed to say it out loud. Sorry.
So welcome. Good. So let me just talk about what this is that we're doing here. Debutantes Dagon is a 27-page supplement that I put out for a single $1 on Drive Through RPG. And the point of this thing is, aside from the theming, it's you should be able to sit down with a couple of friends with no plan and improvise a scenario. This is very scary for me personally. I am a high prep keeper, as we say. I like to have pages and pages of notes and bullet points and everything. I don't always want to live that way. Sometimes I'm like, man, I have an unexpected night where I can play tonight. Let's get some people together and go. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. The way this supplement works is it's a series of tables and some guidance on how to use them. And basically every point along the way, from character creation to the antagonist to complications, you can roll on a table and say, okay, what is this? And if you don't like the result, you can throw it away. But what we're going to try to do is just accept it, right? I've been working on this in meditation. We're just going to try to be accepting of what's going on. We are going to support each other's ideas. I do not have a clue trail because I don't even, until we get to the table, I don't even know who the antagonist is for this scenario.
Dope.
And so I'm going to throw it to these guys.
We know it's Bridget. Bridget's the antagonist. We know.
You know.
Happy to serve, guys.
1D1.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the first 5 entries in the bad guys table is
Bridget.
Bridget with a mask on, Bridget behind a curtain.
I'm okay with this.
And that's how we're going to do, So it's designed to be short, right? This is not a big campaign. This is designed for exactly what we're doing, which is getting together with no plan in mind, a couple of friends, play for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and then be done. The theming is Regency pulp. I think the way this started was I was taking a look at Pride and Prejudice and zombies and said, man, that would be a fun supplement. And Bridget was like, go do it. And then 3 weeks later, here this thing was. And so socially, right, you are ladies in the broadest possible sense of the Regency, and you are badasses. You are capable. You are fierce, perhaps. You are ready to take on the mythos. You are going to start with some mythos knowledge. But because you are ladies in the Regency, you have bounds within which you have to live. Even the most badass have to adhere to certain, or at least deal with certain social pressures. And that is built into this supplement as well. I do want to note that Chaosium does support this particular flavor because there are Regency Pulp character sheets for free on their website. So you should go get those when you're playing this. And I should also note that when we use the term ladies here, we mean that strictly in the broadest possible sense. It's, we're not making any distinctions here other than your character considers themselves a lady, and that's all that's required. So, all right. So we did a little bit of the prep work first. We did a little bit of the crunchy character creation first, the skills and the characteristics and stuff. If you're doing that live at your table, it's going to add maybe 20 minutes if you know your way around the books. But we left out some of the background and the connective tissue. So the first thing that you do, and Bridget, if we can throw up that one, the archetypes handout.
Absolutely.
The first thing that you do when you're using this supplement and you're creating your badass Regency ladies is you say, okay, what is the idea behind my character? And you're just going to roll twice on this table and combine a personality trait with an occupation. The occupations are, there's this little bit in the Regency book where it basically says, if you are a gentlewoman, you can put skills prioritized according to what their interests are. And that's basically what we've done. So you both have the broad category of gentlewoman occupation, but your occupation that we rolled on the table is guided, where we put the skills. So why don't we just very briefly introduce your names and your archetype and personality, or your personality and occupation. So I guess, Bridget, you want to go first?
Yeah. So this afternoon, I will be playing Lady Astrid Beaumont, and she rolled bookish pistolier, I believe, is the combo there. And then how much more do you want me to do, or do you want me to stop there?
That's good for now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And Newman?
Well, I will be playing Lady Isabella Bloom, and I am a gentleman, obviously. And I rolled to be I'm not sure, how well this is going to go down. A responsible know-it-all.
Oh, this is going to be so good.
That sounds like a familiar accusation.
Yeah. I was going to say it's brave of you, Newman, to step so far outside of your comfort zone for this characterization.
I think you'll find. Yeah.
If I could just slander my son for a moment. He's 9 years old and has just entered that age. Apparently, all children at 9 years old do this, where his response to everything is "well, actually," and I could not help thinking that he has entered his responsible know-it-all.
I'm just going to write that down.
So.
I mean, well, actually, that does start around 9, so here we are.
Yeah, so exactly. All right. So what we're going to do then, the first time that we're really going to roll here, is we want to talk about the significant people in your lives. So you each have this lady, generally what they are. On your character sheets, you have some skills and some other characteristics. But part of the Regency, part of that setting, is that your lives are not entirely your own. right? There is someone in your life who has some power over you for good or for ill. If we think about Pride and Prejudice, right? The mother, the father, the wealthy aunt, I think it was, or the cousin. There's someone out there who can materially help you or harm you, depending on how you treat them and how they treat you. And so this is someone that we call the authority figure. And Bridget, I'm going to ask you if you have a 6-sided die to roll a d6, and we're going to see who the authority figure is for this game.
Yes, sir. We came up with a 4.
Okay, so that's a cousin, a near or a distant cousin. And then we want to find out their general personality. So if you could roll Newman a d12.
D12?
Yeah.
That's the 12.
Okay.
Oh.
So they are a traditional cousin. So that means that they adhere very strongly to the values of the time, and they sort of look down on anything that smacks of innovation. So we can name them now or later if you want. If either of you have strong feelings about who this person is, we can talk about that, or we can come to it later.
I tell you what, Newman, unless you have an amazing idea to throw out right now, let's toss that to the chat. Let them come up with something we can cycle back in later.
Cool.
Yeah, you stumped me at amazing. The chat can go for it.
Chat,
Hey,
we need.
Chat, you
what
tell
do
us
you
who
need?
our traditional cousin is.
There we go. I'll choose one and we'll cycle it back in.
Cool. All right. So then we're going to go on to the next thing, because the other thing that we want to find out is how and why you two ladies are important to each other. Why will you risk life and limb for each other? So let's talk a little bit about your relationship. Are you family? Are you friends?
Ooh.
You want to go siblings, Newman, or you got a different idea?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Sisters.
We're going to go sisters, Evan.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I can't help noticing, and that one of you has I guess you both have different last names, right? You have different last names. Is one of you married or widowed? Or how did you come to have different last names?
I can be widowed because I think that is quite a cool reputational thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's point out 2 things. One, what is your age on your character sheet?
Oh. 18.
Looking now.
Mm-hmm. And what is your reputation? Your starting reputation
is 55.
Right. Okay. So that's,
perfect.
Okay. It's not super high. And because in an improv game, we're trying not to say no to anything, right? Do we see a pattern here? You're 18 years old. You're already widowed.
Ooh.
And maybe your reputation could have been higher.
Ooh.
How dare you slander me in front of all of these people?
I imply nothing. I merely state the facts.
Ooh.
So we don't have to do anything with that now, but keep that in the back of your mind.
Oh.
And if you're playing this at the table and something like this comes up, you can certainly pause and dive right into that. Or, like we're doing now, you can leave it as a bomb to be exploded later.
And just throwing it out there, Chris did throw out Bloom was potentially widowed under mysterious circumstances. Take it or leave it. That was just a sexy idea.
Yeah.
Not even she knows.
Oh. Okay. I like it.
Excellent. So you are sisters. You live in an estate, if that's okay for us to say here. I think given your credit ratings, I think we're both in around 75. Right. So I think, it's a reasonable estate, which for the time you would say, well, we're comfortable. And I think now we would say you guys are disgustingly rich and I hate you. But, compared to like the aristocracy, right? You're just sort of a normal sized estate. And the Regency book does have a table in it that helps with that. If you needed more details on that, but you've got sort of a suitable number of servants. There's sufficient people, staff, and room at the estate to host balls and things like that. It's kind of what you oh god, I shouldn't read the chat because I'm just gonna
the chat got me too. I'm sorry. Now I've got Chicago. He had it coming screaming through my head.
Now this has now become a Chicago game. We're gonna switch gears real quick. Everybody put on your Jazz Age stuff
and go. We got ruined by chat on the bingo card market.
Great. And so that's kind of the background. We know who our authority figure is. We know how you guys are related to each other. But I want to ask just a little bit more. What is your relationship like? And has it changed since the recent widowing in the last year or two?
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna say that with the widowing, which was the sequel to The Widow, um, Astrid, my dear sister, was one of the few people who didn't immediately ostracize me or evade or avoid me in society. So she was someone that kept me sane, looked after me. Even though I know she had her own societal judgments, she was such a good sister that she never actually said them to me, to my face anyway. And therefore, I have a very, very high opinion of my sister Astrid, because and the rest of the Beaumonts are our actual family, even though I'm Bloom now by circumstance, didn't treat me as well as Astrid.
I think that's gorgeous. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. I love that tee up, Newman. So, yeah, she's very fond of her baby sister because Astrid, according to the character sheet, is 19. I think she's very fond. I think she's very protective of her sister. She loves her. She would do anything for her. Whatever the mysterious circumstances that surrounded that death of her husband, Astrid just didn't ask any questions. She didn't pass any judgment. She didn't ask any questions. It's not that she doesn't want to know. It's just that she respects, Isabella's privacy, agency, whatever it is, enough not to actually go there unless she's invited there. I will also say, given Astrid's personality, despite the fact that she's the older sister and is the one that's like mollycoddling the situation, she actually looks up to her younger sister to make most of the decisions, to be on the front line, and to give all the directionality because she doesn't actually have the confidence to do it herself. So there's probably some beautiful codependency on the two of them right there. These are definitely, from what I'm hearing from Newman, if you're okay with like sisters forever.
Yeah, love it. Forever.
Two more questions, just to build out the Regency feeling a little bit. Your younger sister was married before you.
Yeah, she was.
How did that feel to you? And how did that feel to your traditional cousin?
Oh. I think the jealousy was there, right? It had to be. There's no way that you can skirt around that. There's no way that you can avoid that. That jealousy was there, but she pushed it down and she suppressed it the best she could to be happy for her sister. I'm curious, Isabella, what's your appearance?
I'm glad you asked. 50. It's all about this. It's not about my looks.
But Isabella, what's your etiquette?
My etiquette is 40. So it's all about my knowledge. I have a beautiful mind. In fact, that's what my dear departed husband Jeffrey used to call me. A beautiful mind.
The beautiful mind. The beautiful mind. Jeffrey was his name?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Evan, she had to bite back that jealousy. She loves her sister, but not only is she 3 times more versed in etiquette, she has 20 points higher in appearance and was the older sister. And somehow Jeffrey married Isabella instead of me.
Yeah.
She had to bite that back the best she could.
Yeah. Well, there's as we say about relationships, there's an ass for every seat. So So
that was a backhanded assault, I believe.
Right? Presented with the prospect of the younger sister marrying first, right? And we are smack dab back in Pride and Prejudice here. How did that go over? Did that cause problems for you, Isabella?
Within the family behind closed doors, yes. I think there was a lot of conversations with Mama and Papa, but I think outwardly to society, it was presented as the family's decision. It was presented as something that we had made, we did together, and that Astrid was very much on board with, and none of this was supposed to affect anybody's reputation, even though it probably significantly did.
Yeah. It took her X amount, however they were married, for Astrid to recover reputation-wise from that hit.
Right.
Did you have something to do with Jeffrey's death?
She would never. Possibly. She would never. You were happy, right? Right?
Absolutely.
She wouldn't interfere
Jeffrey
with your
was
happiness.
lovely.
No, she loves you.
And one other thing, we're going to keep it moving. So because this is a pulp game, one thing that we've also done is we've given you each 2 pulp talents.
Yeah.
By default, every badass Regency lady in Debutantes Dagon gets the pulp talent Mythos Knowledge because you are badasses, because something has already happened to both of you, perhaps alone, perhaps together, but you are starting the game with, I believe it's 10 points of Cthulhu Mythos skill.
Yep.
Could you tell me what it was that gave you that Mythos knowledge?
Oh,
Or
Newman,
do
can
we
we
want to
tie it
figure
into
it
the
out
cousin?
later?
Absolutely.
Tie it into the cousin somehow?
Mhm.
You mean our cousin who was very close with my husband?
Oh. The cousin that is our authoritative or our authoritative figure, the cousin that is bankrolling us, the cousin that knows.
Your
Yeah.
husband
cousin.
who broke tradition and perhaps loved you because of your knowledge.
You're not saying Jeffrey was using me for my knowledge, are you? Oh, God, Jeffrey.
Oh, of course. In the club, he told everyone that he loved you, so clearly it was fine. Yeah, no, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Okay, great. So I think, is there anything that you guys want to explore about your ladies before we start? Anything that we haven't touched on? Anything on your character sheet where you're like, I don't get that. Why is that way? Okay.
No, not on our end. I do have a name that I snatched from chat for the cousin, Lord Algernon Dawson.
Of course. Of course.
Thanks, chat.
Let me just make a note. Type as loudly as possible.
Bang, 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 bang. You're good.
All right. Shall we get our ladies in trouble?
Let's kick down some doors and confront the mythos.
Yes.
All right. So the first table we're going to roll on, there's a section in the supplement called Plot Hooks and Villains. This is, I'm going to ask Bridget just to show a little snippet of it.
Yes, sir.
This is primarily for the keeper to use. When you get to this point in the scenario, you're ready to start. We're going to find out what it is that we're facing. There are 12 of these hooks. And who wants to be responsible for what happens to you guys today? Newman?
Newman? Yeah?
Can we blame you? All right. Roll, since I know you have a D12, would you roll that again?
I can indeed. A 2.
Okay. All right. So, man, I could not have hoped for a better one. Okay. So this is called Ghosts in the Churchyard. And I'm just going to read. So the way these hooks are structured, there's the hook itself, which we'll play out in a moment. I'm going to read it here as a spoiler, just for fun. But when you're running this at the table, you can just keep it to yourself if you're keeping. So there's the part of it that's the hook, and then the part of it that's suggestion of what is actually going on. So what's going to happen is the rector will report strange ghostly sightings in the churchyard at midnight. People who've died young in the last few years are briefly seen on the ground.
Oh, God.
So we're going to tuck that away for a little bit. And we are going to find an opening scene. So I'm going to roll, I'm going to ask Bridget to roll if you have a D20
Yes, sir.
or 2 D10s, because we're just going to do a random location to find out where we're starting this game.
We're coming in at a 14, guys.
Okay, 14. On a fox hunt, please explain why, how, whether you two would be present at a fox hunt. What are you doing? And let's start there.
Oh.
I'm accompanying my rather adventurous older sister, who's probably brought me along to get me out of the drape pulled study where I've been hiding away and reading my books. Well, not really reading my books, but just sitting there knowing everything. I think is probably more my style.
Excellent.
And if she dragged Isabella along with her, it's probably because she's on some form of a courtship. She's there with a potential betrothed person that is on this fox hunt, and she's there as the +1 to the fox hunt. Yeah. That was smooth. Newman, I'd love you more and more every day. But she is completely not particularly interested in this suitor, so she dragged her sister along for additional support.
Are either of you riding, or are you both enjoying the picnic lunch that's been brought along? Most of the other ladies are enjoying the riding. I mean, the picnic is what I meant to say. But yeah,
she'd prefer to be reading at the picnic.
Very good, very good.
Then we're both sitting at the picnic. Astrid reading and Isabella judging people.
Fantastic. Then, as you're sitting there, you're watching the riders go along. You're watching the dogs chase the fox, mostly to no effect so far. The fox seems to be having a good day.
Good for the fox.
The riders are going. They're approaching a gate. Most of them, they have, someone hops down to open the gate. There's one rider who wants to go for the hedge, right? They want to jump over the hedge. It's a little tricky. You don't know much about riding, but you can see both sides of the hedge. You can see there's sort of a dip on the other side. It's kind of a nasty blind one. Who is making that jump? Is it someone you know?
Is it our dear cousin?
I think it might be.
Oh, we're saying this is.
I think it might be.
Lord Dawson?
Is this Cousin Algie?
Cousin Algie.
Cousin Algie. I hate chatting you. Okay. Yep, I hate everybody. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So Cousin Algie, up on this beautiful bay gelding, goes for the hedge, comes down. The horse took it badly. Goes down in a heap. There's dust. Let's say it's summertime. It's dry. There's dust. There's a scream of a horse. Sorry again. We're 2 for 2 now on Regency streams that are causing harm to horses.
Harm to horses, honey. Listen, we're consistent.
And what do you do? You've just seen Cousin Algie go down in a potentially fatal accident. What do you do?
Isabella will stand up and just from where she is at the picnic, not wanting to cause a disturbance, a distraction, just standing up rather composed, but just looking to see, is Cousin Algie, does he look hurt?
Yeah, well, he's moving, but he doesn't look happy. He's on the ground. Possibly something is broken.
But the horse is hurt.
Oh, the horse. Yeah, the horse. Do you have any horse experience, really? Have you been around them enough to know?
Seen one in a picture.
Okay, so you don't know
Father
the
has
long-term prospects of the horse, but both horse and rider are down.
I think Astrid missed the leap and the fall visually because this was her experience, but she can hear that sound. She knows that sound. That's one of those sounds that sticks with you. So I think she springs to her feet. She looks around. She's going to be very intentional to keep that book with her, not leaving it on the table. And she is going to grab Isabella by the wrist and take off that direction.
Okay, great. And you run over towards there. There's some other riders there. Before you even arrive, one of the riders has taken a shotgun and put the horse down.
God.
And then a couple of servants are helping your cousin to his feet. And he seems a little dazed. Perhaps he's struck his head a little bit. But he sees you coming over and smiles sort of weakly. Oh, Clarissa, thank you for coming. Sorry, my accent is terrible.
That's okay. We're going to join you in bad accents. It'll be great.
Good.
Oh, God, yeah. Cousin Algernon, not Clarissa.
Oh.
It's Astrid, Isabella.
It's you. Well.
Damn.
What is it?
You look like you were doing a splendid job, dear cousin, but I think you'll find you're supposed to go over the hedge.
He looks to one of his servants and says, have I nothing better to do today than be patronized while I'm near death's door?
You seem to be very good at it.
Isabella.
Oh, no. Yeah, so Astrid, what are you doing here? She's mouthing off here. What are you doing?
It's a very quick correction, which she actually probably is going to remark poorly because she's not even calling her by her official name. It's Isabella. She's going to put her hand on either side of Cousin Algie's face. She's like, my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Please tell me you're okay. And she's just like on either side of the face, and she's going to just give him a quick once-over. Bump on the head could explain the whole, I'm not Clarissa, but she just wants to make sure there's nothing else crazy going on, no compound fractures, how bad is the bruising, just a quick rundown on them.
Sure. We're not going to worry about rolling first aid unless you really would like to.
Mm-mm.
What I would like you both to roll, though, is that
Uh-oh.
you, Astrid,
Ooh.
are displaying a wonderful example of, of piety and family connection. Isabella's sort of the opposite. So I would like you both to roll your reputation.
Uh-oh.
I think one thing about improvised games, I'm not going to go through the rule book. I may have the reputation mechanics slightly wrong.
Meh.
It's fine.
We're going to rock with it.
It's fine. It's how we do.
It's painful. I rolled 57 over 55.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Would you please roll? This was a mouthing off to your influential cousin, being disrespectful at their hour of need in a public place. Would you please roll a d6 for me?
That articulation was brutal. Mouthing
That's a
off
6.
to a public. Oh God!
Yeah.
I go into a bout of reputation.
Exactly. You'll be wearing leather jackets and smoking clove cigarettes for the next 5 hours. So I believe the cutoff for censure is higher than that. I believe it's 20% of your total. So you've got some to play with if you want to keep it up. But do please lose those 6. And Astrid?
Astrid got a hard success.
Okay, fantastic. So
Totally
you
makes
can
sense.
increase by 1d6.
Oh, she's up by 4.
Okay, and there is perhaps something to be said in the juxtaposition with the behavior of your sister. So,
how did she get married first? The universe
Right.
needs to know.
right. This is
I am a
something
catch
doesn't
in
add up.
anyone's book.
But
Something
she's not
doesn't
jealous.
add up.
She's not jealous. She loves her sister.
So the hunt is by this point the fox is long off, and the hunt is called off for everyone to go and have a couple of bottles of ale and some sandwiches. And so your cousin is made comfortable. Everyone is sitting under a willow tree, spreading shade. Very nice. And as people start to get comfortable, there's some gossip. And you hear someone, say to her friend, "Oh, Louisa, don't be ridiculous. There's no such thing as ghosts." And then someone else says, "No, I heard it. The rector himself said it every midnight, regular as clockwork." And it's and then she says one of the women who's talking looks over and glances at you, Isabella, and says the next thing very quietly, and you can both make a listen roll.
Oh.
Okay.
Man, she failed it by 6, and I'm so
You want to
tempted
spend
to
it?
burn it.
Spend it, burn it.
It's
What
a
else you
one
gotta
shot,
use it
right?
on?
We out here living
Yep,
our truth. She got
that's
75
right.
luck. We're gonna burn. We're gonna
Yes,
burn
we
6.
are. Yes, we are.
Succeeded.
Great.
Just a normal
So
success, though.
That's fine. That's fine. So you both hear her say, "Yeah. He said he saw Jeffrey there. Lord Bloom."
Excuse me,
Oh.
Louisa.
Oh.
Oh, and she
Louisa.
looks over and all of the color goes out of her face. "Oh, yes, Miss Bloom."
I believe you were saying something that you should be saying to my face.
"Oh, well, it's you wouldn't be interested. It's just a bit of gossip from the village. It's just how are you getting on, dear?"
We're all friends here, and I'm perfectly fine, and I thank you so much for you asking how I'm doing. But I'm thoroughly invested in your little bit of gossip, and wouldn't it be terribly rude now not to share with everybody here? You wouldn't be keeping secrets, would you?
She looks absolutely pinned down because not only is she talking to you in a public place after that reputation hit you just took, but you've referred to her as your friend. But you did go to school together, and she does have fond memories of your times there. And so instead of shunning you altogether, she kind of looks around to see if too many people are watching her talk to you. And then she kind of just gives you the lowdown. She says that the gossip from the village, from the rector of the village, is that he's seen some ghosts every night at midnight, and that on a recent night they saw your poor, I don't say ex, but dead husband also sounds insensitive. I don't know what the proper term for it is, but
Deceased?
yeah, the
Husband
cause of your
departed.
widowhood.
Husband
I don't know.
departed,
Yeah,
deceased
deceased
loved
husband,
one. Yeah,
departed
there we go.
husband, late husband. also
Late
works.
husband. There we go.
Yeah,
Very
very
late.
good. Yeah,
Big
and
late.
and then she says, "Oh, this must be terribly. I'm so sorry to have said anything. It's just foolish gossip."
Louisa, I thank you for your generosity and kindness, especially with all these friends here. You have passed words onto me that do my heart wonders. You are a generous and kind friend.
Yes.
Astrid looks impressed. She's trying to hide it, so it's not like, wow, she's capable of being
Isabella kind
social.
of just like she went for Louisa, but she kind of clocked like, oh yeah, I'm not really in the good books at the minute, so I don't want to pass that on to Louisa, because Louisa was always very good to me at school, and if I can publicly put off any negative association with her to me, and at the same time possibly grind myself a little bit of goodwill out of the company, then I will actively do that. Not necessarily feeling it, but knowing that these are the social ramifications of the situation.
Great. And yeah, and she visibly looks grateful for the out. And she says, Mama's calling me. I have to run, but be well, dear. And run, and her mother's like not within a mile of the place, but she runs off.
Bye.
Bye, Louisa's mother.
Oh, jeez. And she died 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. Everybody's coming back.
She's at the churchyard.
So, table-wise, supplement-wise, we have our hook, right?
Yeah.
We know who you are. We've had our opening scene. We've established the relationship. What do you guys want to do with this information?
Are we alone?
We can be. We can fast forward to a time when you're alone, or you can still be at the picnic.
Dear sister, do walk with me by the stream.
Yeah, I'd be delighted. She brings her book.
Astrid, I am intrigued, yet take great offense to the gossip of Geoffrey.
I know. That was rather cruel. But
Indubitably, but I request something from you, my dear sister. I won't be able to sleep a single jot until we have proven these feeble-minded delinquents wrong, and that they haven't seen my dear Geoffrey, or sullied him into some bizarre Christmas Eve ghost story. Would you,
of course, you didn't have to ask.
Thank you, Astrid.
You know there's a chance he could be there, though, right?
Well, actually, ghosts don't exist.
The second the well actually started, you could see her shoulders just pulled up. Like, and here we go again. Here we go again with the well actually. Okay.
There's
by
no
your
proof.
by your definition, ghosts don't exist. But
And natural philosophy would dictate that ghosts don't exist.
Isabella, with what we've been through, we do know that other things do exist, though. I'm just saying, I understand that you want to go disprove this gossip, but there's a chance he could actually be there. I just want to make sure that you're prepared for that.
Thank you, dear sister. You always have my best interests at heart. I don't know what I would do without you.
Do you know who Clarissa is? It was Clarissa, uncle, cousin, Lord Algie said.
Cousin Algie. Do I know who Clarissa is, Keeper?
Neither. Well, the only Clarissa that you know is a servant at cousin Algie's estate. She's a little bit younger than you. But she also has your interest in sort of books and knowledge and things like that. And you've, when you've been visiting him in the past and discussing things that interest you, you've caught her kind of eavesdropping a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. Do you remember Clarissa? The young serving girl, cousin Algie's, not Archie, that's the other cousin. She was always very lovely, young, very impressionable, but she had a bright mind on her. You remember, she would often ask you what you were reading.
Yeah, the brunette girl, right, with the curly hair?
That's the one.
Why would his default be to call out for a servant?
And why on earth would he have, even if she was there, would she have been there?
Isn't she the nosy one? That always where she
terribly.
isn't supposed to be. Yes. And then she's getting excited. And she's like, "Oh, let me bring that volume down really fast because that's gossiping." I don't know. That's peculiar.
Find it rather strange. Yeah, absolutely. The dear Algernon would be calling out in public for his servant girl. Seems, well, he did bang his head, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe that's the excuse that we can use until we get a better understanding of who she is.
Oh, we'll have to ask Clarissa, really. Why on earth our dear cousin would be calling out for her? I hope she's not got herself into any silliness.
God forbid. How much daylight do we have before we're looking at midnightish here, Keeper?
Unless you have something important you want to accomplish, we can skip ahead. You tell me what you need. I do, however, because I just
I'm sorry.
oh Jesus.
Banging his head and the servant girl. Oh my, Matt, go home.
That's our cousin you're talking about. We haven't even slandered him yet.
The disrespect.
Reputation roll, you.
Right, chat loses reputation.
Right, exactly. Yeah, shame on all of you. Shame on all of you. Censure for all.
Censored
Not
for the
invited
chat.
to the ball. You'll be the last to marry, all of you. I do, if it's friendly, I do want to posit two things about the circumstances of Jeffrey's death.
Oh,
I know that you've said in our character development that you've said that you don't know what happened to him, and you said that you were not there when he died, which is good. We're going to go with that.
Okay.
Because the last he was seen was going to pay a call on cousin Algie, which is not unusual. He did that often. But no body was found, and that was vigorously hushed up by Algie. But when he was buried, the coffin was light.
So who did I pay my last respects to?
Well, I mean, this happens when people are lost at sea and all,
Oh.
I mean, it's not that unusual. He was. I think the story. Let me see. The story that was put about was that he was caught on the road by a bear or a wolf or something. So it happens, right? Travelers disappear. It's not scandalous in and of itself.
ooh, that's
So we're just going to set that up. Yeah.
Wow.
I now have an intense hatred of bears.
Yeah.
I like
good.
that.
Very good.
I like
I'm sure
that.
I'm sure that won't come into play here at all. I got to write down. All right, work in a bear somehow.
Work in a bear.
When was Winnie the Pooh written?
Right, exactly. So you have a couple of leads, right? You have the fact of the potential haunting. You have the calling out for Clarissa. You have as much daylight as you'd like, or we can skip tonight. What would you like?
How far? Sorry, Keeper. How far is cousin Algernon's manor from where we are? From us?
Let's say it's about 10 miles. I'm going to guess, right? So it's an easy enough ride to make, but it's through some country that's fairly deserted.
Dear sister, we could, before this evening, as we have plans, and I have no doubt neither of us intend to sleep before, we could pay a visit to dear Clarissa under the guise of checking on our most adoring cousin, Algie.
I wouldn't be opposed. What do you think would be the best use of our time? Touching base with Clarissa or arriving to the church early and speaking to the pastor?
Right. Yes. Very good.
She almost steps back like she didn't want to put that up front, so she almost did back to you, but it's your decision.
Well, actually, I think the best use of our time would be probably going to the church and speaking to the pastor and perhaps finding out what they have to say for themselves. I understand that you want to see Clarissa and perhaps find out what's happening there, but I'm not sure that is the best use of our time. Sister, should we go and speak to the pastor?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Really fast, just as a total, I'm going to amuse myself in this moment. I just rolled a D8. I got a 5. When she hits me with the 5th, well, actually, this character is going to snap on her. I'm just putting it out there right now. We're up to 2.
I call that the trigger dice.
On this 3rd, well, actually, Astra is going to speak her mind. But we've got 3 more to go.
It's your son's fault, Evan.
Work in bear, encourage Newman to say, well, actually, we got it.
To a bear.
Sounds good. Right, to a bear who will then maul you. And
we're good.
While on cocaine. Very good.
While on cocaine.
I saw you chat with your cocaine bear. I saw you.
Cocaine bears are the new alpacas now, apparently.
Yeah, then we get into like mescaline alpaca. And
we'll have to tell Hedge. The new animal series.
Now it's a trilogy. Now it's a trilogy.
I hate everyone.
Skydiving alpacas on PCP. Angel dust alpacas. That's what it is. All right. Well, I've totally lost the thread.
That's okay.
Somebody else run this. I got nothing.
I love us.
Okay. So Rector, church. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you've got time to get down to the village and back before it's dark, if you want.
Yes.
Or at dark, depending on. Well, you tell me. What time of day would you like to go there?
Probably as he's closing up shop, perhaps if he's seeing any last members of the village. I don't know. I imagine that our family, the Beaumonts, have not just a village relationship, but obviously with the recent loss of Jeffrey, we've got a very recent relationship. So we might know kind of when the Reverend or the Rector naturally kind of packs up business for the day. He's finished conversions and baptisms and prayers and things, so we'll probably aim for the end of that so we have a bit of time with him without anybody else there.
I like that. So close the business for him. Dusk still gives us a long enough window before midnight hits.
All right, sounds good. I'm sorry, I'm just making a note to myself. So when you're improvising a scenario, right, these things happen and you're like, okay, now I understand how it fits together.
Oh yeah. Those threads start connecting. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you. Very good. All right. So you get there. It's summertime. So you know what? I don't actually. When does it get dark in the summer? In
7:30.
7:30. Okay.
Yeah. So, we got late evenings. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's assume that he might close up around 5:30 or so he has time for supper and all. So you get there 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that, right? Does that work?
Love it.
Is that close enough? Okay, great. So you arrive. It's a small parish church. There's a churchyard out the side of it with a couple of dozen headstones, going back. Well, I don't know how long's it been here. A few hundred years, right? They go back quite a ways. And it's still in use. So there's relatively fresher graves being dug there. And you get there, and the rector is seeing off the last of his, I don't know, what are they called? Parishioners? I don't know. Your religion is strange and mysterious to me, so I'm guessing. So it's he's
make a religion roll.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I've got an odd one. This can only go well. So he's I think there's probably an old lady who gives him a tart or a pie or something. I think that's how they do. And then with her heading off down the lane, he turns to look at you. And of course, you've known him for a long time. He's overseen the religious rituals of your lives, from children, through your wedding, is fair to say.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have that kind of close relationship with him?
Absolutely. Yeah. He knows the family, known us since kids. Yeah.
And is maybe the only person besides your sister, Isabella, to look at you with true kindness and sympathy now when you approach. He I don't think it's appropriate to take your hand, but he looks at you and sort of holds his hands like this and said, and he addresses you first, even though you're younger and by rights should be addressing Astrid first. But your pain is the greater. And so, Isabella, no, he wouldn't call you Isabella. He would call you Lady Bloom. My dear, how are you? And Lady Beaumont, thank
She
you for
bows
coming.
respectfully.
Oh, dear Rector, it is wonderful to see you. We thought, my sister and I, that in these difficult times, that perhaps we could spend some time with you if you weren't too busy, if you were able to gift us with your generous words.
he looks at you sort of cockeyed for a moment, as though he suspects you're not being totally open and candid. But this is probably in the line of work for him. So he says, "Yeah, of course, come in. I've just got I've got this for tea, I suppose." And he holds up the tart, the pastry that the old lady just gave him, and invites you in and I guess makes some kind of tea. And there's maybe a little bit more small talk. And as he's going, he's a little bit clumsy. Some of that is age. He is not as young as he used to be, but he also just looks quite tired. He looks a little worn down, and he sits down and asks you, "What brings you here?"
I think Astrid, during this process, once she sees just, his age and the stretching that he's trying to do to be hospitable, is going to kind of fall into that genteel, let me just help. Let me help with the cups. Let me help with the tea. Let me help, dress the table. When that question lands, I think she's just going to go double down on the direct. Are the rumors true?
Well, of course, I can't possibly discuss the health of another. Silly. No, the other rumor. No, that's well.
The look she's throwing her sister is like, we need to cycle back to that. Whatever that is, we need to hit that too.
Sounds interesting.
I mean, it was silly. It's I've been working very hard, and sometimes you don't sleep so well when you're an old man. You wake up for any reason. A fox, makes just this sort of scream, and it woke me, and that's all. And I went to the churchyard, and that's all it was. I'm sure. I'm certain. Just a fox. But it's very, very persistent.
After Jeffrey passed, I had many, many sleepless nights and still do. And you're not wrong. Well, actually, a fox's scream isn't actually a scream. It's more of their call, but it sounds like a scream. It's quite a terrible noise. But I can understand your complete shock by it. But being tired, awake in the night, we're rather interested to hear, good Rector, what you may have experienced, knowing that you were tired and perhaps half asleep. But still, I think my sister and I would hugely appreciate you humoring us, if you would.
Isabel, would you make some kind of social role that you deem appropriate? Probably not intimidate, seems, but you could if that's how you want to go with it. But he is awfully reluctant to spill whatever beans he has to spill.
Okay. Oh, I got a 23 on dance. Charm.
Wait a second. How are you persuading him to talk again? Wait a minute.
I'm a widow, don't you know? So charm, I think, but it's rather than a very kind of cheesy, obvious sense. It is that almost kind of community, only a step behind familial, really, because the rector has spent so much time with the family. He's considered to be, especially within his position within religion in the village, he is considered to be a part of the family circle, the larger family circle of the community.
Yeah. And he he looks at you, and tears slightly coming down his
Oh.
eyes. He says, "Oh, my dear child, I would not have given you this pain for anything, but I must tell you the truth. I believe I saw your beloved Jeffrey these last several nights, always at midnight. Oh, I would not have wanted to tell you for anything."
What was he doing?
And he sobs. He says, "He was screaming. I'm
Oof.
so sorry, my dear. I'm
Screaming
so
for
sorry.
me.
I don't know. There weren't words, just like a fox. Oh, God, help me."
I'll just take my sister's hand in that moment, rather than saying, well, actually, about the fox, and I'll just take my sister's hand, and I'm just sobbing. I'm sobbing, and I almost need Astrid to talk for us, for both of us.
Yeah, I think. You know what Astrid is gonna do? Astrid is gonna make a sand check because that bothered Bridget. So if that shit bothered me, it probably bothered her today.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take that.
Fantastic.
And she failed it
Quite
like
right.
a boss.
I should be
Like
making
a
a sand
fox.
check. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. This is my dear husband for several nights, apparently.
Yeah.
God,
Yep.
Gerald was never so active in life. Okay, I think I've passed that. I got a 19.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you want to talk about how you passed that, right? That's perfectly in character for you. I know that he says, I know that you don't usually truck with this sort of thing, but perhaps even this horrible news might be some comfort.
Rector, it truly is, and you preach and teach about the afterlife, but is this really something that you believe? Could Jeffrey be coming back to tell us something?
I can only hope. I can only hope. I have to believe that everything happens as part of God's plan.
Is it only Jeffrey, or are others coming? What exactly are you seeing?
Yes, just Jeffrey. The last few nights, the first night quite faint and quite quiet, and I was up anyway. I was reading, and I heard something out of the corner of my ear and saw out the window. Um, and then a little bit louder and a little more clear each night, growing, I suppose, in strength.
Astrid, you'll see Isabella at this point, and a hand just goes to her belly.
I was gonna ask because chat has been biting at that one for the last hour. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask how long
Chad
ago
is
did he
rooting,
die, but I
rooting,
am gonna choose. Not, I'm gonna say it
rooting
fits
hard
this
for baby.
timeline.
Yep, that's fine. We can be in that window. This is Newman. This is entirely up to you. I am not going to
I'm happy with that. I
enforce.
think it's a really lovely. I think it fits the narrative very well.
Right.
I think she's gonna look over at her sister. Did you know? Have you known? And she's quickly running through a Rolodex in her head to see if she could, retroactively recognize any, early signs of pregnancy. Has her sister been sleepless? Is she picking up weight? Is her food consumption going up? Is she having morning sickness? Like Astrid is doing a quick reverse Rolodex in her head. Like, did she miss those signs, or is that's where she is right now, especially with that failed sand check?
Isabella has been hiding the signs, not because she doesn't want the baby, but because she's scared, especially after the scandalous nature of marrying before her sister and then her husband dying. So she's been keeping it from mother and father, and just out of fear, even though she knows the one person who's going to understand is Astrid. She's just been waiting for the right time to talk about it, and perhaps today at the picnic was going to be the right time, but unfortunately our idiot cousin fell off his horse, and we've fallen into this whirlwind of gossip about ghosts of her widowed husband or dead husband.
Astrid looks hurt. She takes a step back when she recognizes that realization on your face. You did know. You didn't say anything to me? Why wouldn't you say something to me?
I didn't know how to say it to myself. Dear sister, please don't see this anything to do with you. This is Rector.
Yes, he was busily trying not to be there.
Yep.
Um,
Would you just
he,
put your hands over your ears a moment, please?
I've got something to do with the tea.
My mom's calling me. I'll be back.
Yeah, yeah.
Say hello to your mother.
Yeah, Louisa's mother is calling me.
My favorite NPC that we'll never meet, Louisa's mother.
So he bustles off.
And then Isabella just turns to you, takes both your hands, and she just
she snatches her hands away.
Sorry. Oh, please, Astrid, please. This is nothing to do with you. I didn't want to put you in a position with mother and father, and with everything with the marriage happening before you have found the right person. I thought this would. I am eternally sorry, dear sister.
You've been lying to me. That's what this is. You recognize that, right? This is a lie. You've been intentionally lying to me every single day that you knew and you didn't tell me.
Well, actually, I've not been lying.
Oh God, I'm going to count that as 2.
I've just not been telling the truth. I've not been lying.
I think if we're counting that as 2, I think that puts us at 5.
Did I miss a third one in there somewhere? I thought I had 3 to go.
No,
rigor.
No, I think it's time to pop.
Well, actually is 5. A slap across the face. You've been lying to me. Well, actually, bam, right across the face. I'll roll for it or we can narrate it. I don't care.
You don't need to roll.
Bam, right across the face.
1d12 damage.
Yeah. Roll a new character, everybody wait.
I almost just so unexpected. I thought it was going to be a moment where hands were held, the sisters hugged, there was a kissed cheek, there was perhaps Astrid's hand on Isabella's tummy, and there was a beautiful moment. But now I have a rather sore face and a handprint, very much across my cheek. How dare you?
How dare you? I can't believe you didn't tell me.
You're right. You're right. You're the one person in this world who I still have that I should share everything with, Astrid, and I am. Well, it's unforgivable. But will you forgive me?
I mean, it's really hard to turn down an apology that sincere, especially coming from that character. Not tonight, but probably tomorrow.
Okay. Because I won't be able to do this without you, Astrid. But tomorrow, tonight, you can hate me, and I will hate myself. But tomorrow is a new day.
Could have been commissioning outfits for the baby. We could have been discussing names. We could have been, and she's cleaning up tea at this point. Let's see what your dead husband has to say about this. She's cleaning up.
Speaking of the dead husband.
Whoa. Transitions.
It is dark. It's gone to about 7:30. You guys have been in discussion for a while. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay here and wait for midnight? Do you want to go into the village, take care of some things? Do you want to go home and come back another time? Are you guys too mad at each other to do the Scooby-Doo routine right now? Do you need to take a break?
Can Isabella take a moment to, and perhaps this leaves Astrid to speak to the rector again, or perhaps nip into the village if we're on the cusp of the village. But I think Isabella is going to go to her husband's grave before midnight, knowing before the things have been seen. So before her memory is sullied of this place, she'd like to go to her husband's grave.
Great. Yeah, and you go, and it's in they've been opening new sections of the churchyard as needed when people die. And so this is, been active for about 50 years. And he's sort of towards where the current wall is. Eventually, periodically they move the stone wall. Given the timeline, the earth still looks disturbed. There is grass growing on it, but it's clear that this is a relatively new grave. On the stone, it's got it's got, how do they decorate it? It's got the like an hourglass, right? Sort of a memento mori thing, an hourglass, right? And you remember being very touched because cousin Algie paid for the stone for the burial. He insisted that he be allowed to pay for the stone and see to the burial, which is a little unusual, because he was quite unhappy with the marriage. But he did have some affection, I suppose, for Jeffrey, and it's got Lord Jeffrey born died, forever with us at all times.
Oh, my dear Jeffrey, I suppose you should be the next to know that we're going to have a child. If it's a boy, I will call it Jeffrey, of course. And if it's a girl, I will also call it Jeffrey.
Thank you, because I was about to go have like a 5-minute cry. If anybody needs one, that's cool. That was
I suppose
helpful.
the last thing I'll do then at the gravestone, which was supposed to be the endearing moment, was, and I would say, the one thing, dear Jeffrey, it does not say on your gravestone. And I'll just kind of get some of the fresh earth just on the tip of my finger, and I'm just going to write father on the gravestone, because it probably says like beloved husband, wonderful cousin, unsuspected death, and then I'm just going to write father, and then I will wipe away a single tear, stare up to the setting sun,
I hate to ruin this sentimental moment with some weird shit, but
Newman is a mood all to himself, dude.
But in the nature of the game that we're playing,
is this not a 20-hour game?
No. As you dig your finger into the grave, the earth, just make a spot hidden for me, would you?
Oh no. I don't know whether I want you to make this or fail it. Probably make it. See it.
46 over a 50. That's a success.
Okay. You know how when you're at home and you're walking around on the carpet in your slippers and you touch a doorknob and you get that little shock? You feel a shock when you touch the ground.
Uh-oh.
And just for a moment, a very, very strong sense of deja vu. And then it passes and you go on with the extraordinarily affecting writing of the name and everything else. But yeah, just a bit of static shock and a bit of deja vu. And that's all. Okay, what now?
While they're separated, Astrid would love to get to anywhere that she can to pull as much rapid fire research as she can on afterlife, spirits, ghosts, haunts, any of that, whether that's going to be from the church, whether that's going to be for library in town. She has the pulp talent quick study, which I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume that I can use it in this moment.
Yeah, I'm not going to look it up either, but I think it's yes. I think we're going to give you a bonus on library use.
I love it.
I think.
Does she have library use? She damn. Oh, wow. Yes, she has it all day and twice on Sunday.
Well, she's bookish, is she not? So.
Listen, honey, you built this character sheet well. She is. That is a 7 under 70 extreme.
Yeah. So you were expecting to find some churchy documents. You were expecting to find, maybe some folklore. You get everything. You get, an old man with a real strong West Country accent sees you reading the book and he jabbers at you and, for a while about things that he's seen. You find proceedings of the Greenwich Philosophical Society. And you come across, you basically come away with a few different things. There's the traditional stream, which says that ghosts are the remnants of the dead with unfinished business, and they return to take care of something they left undone. There's another kind of spiritual stream that says that ghosts are warnings or tormentors of the living. There to cause you to repent on your sins and better yourself, lest you meet a similar fate. But there were a few lectures presented at the the scientific or the Natural Philosophical Society, where people have sworn that they saw ghosts of the living. There was a man in working in a factory, and he saw, at the top of a gantry, there was someone he knew was alive, but he saw this ghostly apparition of him, and the man seemed very disoriented, and it passed after a few moments, and when he went to seek him out, he found him that he was alive and well and had no idea what they were talking about. But about a year later, the man disappeared.
Oh.
So, some would say that that's a presaging of death, that is, something, but he didn't know what to make of it, but he felt that it should be passed on. He thought perhaps it had something to do with the galvanic fluid, perhaps. It was baffling, really. But that was a non-traditional interpretation of ghosts.
Okay. She is rapidly absorbing this. Thanks, Rena in chat, who said, apparently that Pope talent is you get to research it in half the time. I'm still going to take my 7 and have a great day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's absorbing all of this as quickly as she can. She's got the unfinished business. Okay, cool. Notes. These are all the things that back this. Warning of something incoming to the people you love. Okay, got this. And then when she hits the ghost of the living, I think that's one of those things that everything in her freezes. And she thinks for a second, like, could he be alive? And do I tell that to my sister? And then I think she's going to look out the window, see how dark it is, and she needs to, it's so disrespectful not to put all this research back, but she doesn't have that much time. She needs to get, so she's going to take what she can, and then she's going to run back towards the church.
All right. So you've reunited. It's whatever time you need it to be at night. And what do you want to do?
You look like you've been rather busy there, sister.
Just doing some research to see if it could aid us in anything that we're working on. I have something. It's all academic. I just need to declare that on the front end. Okay. I don't want you to get your hopes up. I don't want you to interpret anything other than what I'm telling you. This is just academic regurgitation of what I've seen. Okay.
I understand.
Do you?
Absolutely.
She's going to lean into that lie today. So spirits of this nature, I know you say you don't believe in ghosts. Do not well actually me in this moment. Don't. I can see it on your face. Your brows do this thing every time you're about to say it. One of 3 likely outcomes is why Jeffrey is here. Either there's some form of unfinished business and her eyes kind of fall to your stomach and they come back up. A warning of some sign or some type to a loved one. So maybe he's trying to relay a message or tell you that something is coming. Then there's something that I found that indicates the ghost of the living, where ghostly apparitions of those who are actually still alive can be seen moving about. There was a particular case where a factory worker, while still living, his ghost was, it's an academic please don't interpret this any other way, sister, please. It's just someone saw his ghost moving about and a year later he disappeared, but at the point that the ghost was there, he was alive.
Are you sure it wasn't just him?
Not according to the reading, and I was thorough. I rolled a 7.
Wow. I mean, I would, well, actually, that is
oh
thorough.
My God!
Oh, sorry. How very baffling to have a ghost whilst you are alive. Not that I believe this for a second, but are you suggesting that Jeffrey might not be dead. And that we might be seeing his ghost and he could still be alive?
Sister, we never found a body.
Well, Cousin Archibald verified everything that happened and sponsored the funeral and took it upon himself to...
I know, but what if cousin Algie lied?
Oh, sister. Now, I am glad you said that to me and no one else. Because I completely agree. He is a terrible person. And his breath, it disgusts me.
And it sounds like he's sleeping with the servant girl. Are we not going to address...
With that breath as well. Scandalous. Poor Clarice. And Jeffrey.
And Jeffrey. Let's see what your husband has to say.
Yes. Do we keep a... Did we decipher from the rector? Was there a special place we needed to be? Was it outside in the actual graveyard?
Yeah, it was right above his grave.
Then I suppose we go and place ourselves out in the graveyard, coats on. Do we, sister, just in case something happens untoward, do we need some form of protection, perhaps?
It's so funny you said that because as I was doing the research, all of these were very benevolent, right? Warning of the loved ones, unfinished business. There was nothing. Yeah, I just don't know how to protect us from ghosts. Maybe if I had more time or a better library.
Ghost stories are often told at Christmas. Think of Papa. Think of his ongoing monotonous tone at Christmas. He often tells those wonderful stories that we all ignore. Okay, I'm trying to think now. What would deter a ghost?
Well, they're typically location based, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So as far as deterring, the books have suggested salt, religious items, things like that. Normal kind of spooky ghost busting stuff. Proton packs are a little after this time period.
So, just missed it.
Yeah, just missed it. But...
was thinking if I can remember something about dear Papa talking about iron, perhaps, or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I think
iron very
Isabella might go and get one of the fire pokers. For the church and just kind of, there's probably a couple of pokers there, and grab one for her sister. It's safety first and all that. I am a responsible know-it-all, and I will have you know.
You will not be unprepared. That's right.
I will beat the shit out of any ghosts that come near me, unless it's Jeffrey's getting a cuddle.
I'm closing chat for the record. I am done with y'all for the duration of this stream.
Nuke it from orbit. It's a waste.
Let it go. There's no saving them.
Honestly, the chat has a lot to answer for Jeffrey's reputation. That was my dear husband.
And they're being super disrespectful. I'm just saying.
Shameful. They're not coming to the christening.
They're not. They're uninvited.
Not. So... in the interest of having about an hour left, a little bit less than an hour left, one quick thing in the supplement, if you were playing this at your table and you were running short and you're like, oh man, we're going to finish right away, there's a table of complications. So that when your ladies get up to something, you can roll on that and get them in trouble. Someone sees them talking to someone they shouldn't, they get in trouble. It's a social trouble. It's not ninjas bursting out of a door. We are going to skip that because in the interest of an hour, I think we've got a little less than an hour of play left. So we're going to roll with it.
Okay.
If I needed it, I could make your lives harder than they are already going to be. Shall we fast forward to midnight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. have you made any preparations at the churchyard?
How Scooby-Doo have we gone on this, sister?
You know what? With in an interest of an hour left, let's go to the wall. Let's
Okay,
go.
we've dug a pit. There's a rope with a noose on it leading to a net that falls, and then there's a van with a dog in it and a guy who's really stoned. We've
We're
probably
ready.
just sat there and we've just kept warm.
Okay,
And I've given my sister a fire poker.
great.
And we have a bag of salt. We haven't applied it unless Isabella tells me differently, but we have it if we need to do quick barriers or containment.
Great.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a watch?
I'm gonna roll luck.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Because this is the kind of village where the big clock towers haven't really appeared yet. And what they have is someone who walks through the streets and rings a bell, and gives it the old 12 o'clock and all's well, kind of thing. And you hear that, but it sounds like it's coming from farther away than normal. And it's a little bit foggy and a little bit like compared, where the village is compared to where you are, but it seems muffled and far even for that distance. There's a bit of fog, tendrils of fog in the graveyard there. And Isabella, you begin to feel the hairs on your arms stand up just a little bit. And there's a smell like precedes a thunderstorm in the summer. Astrid, the fire poker, the iron poker in your hand starts to shock you just a little bit. Like, psst, 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 psst. And then this happens very quickly. So I want you to make a dex roll. Let's do dex. And we'll see if you get out of the way of what's about to happen.
This is just for Astrid, isn't it?
Just for Astrid.
she hit a 9.
Okay. So you feel this coming before it happens. You feel the heat, you feel the growing shock sensation. You throw the poker down, and as soon as it hits the dirt of Jeffrey's grave, there is a shower of sparks. And in the mist, in the fog, with the smell of ozone, there is this form that emerges crackling in electricity. And just from the way that it holds itself, Isabella, that this is Jeffrey. And it sort of stands there or hangs there suspended from arms of electricity, floating a good 6 inches above the grave.
Jeffrey, darling.
Above the crackling sound of the electricity, it screams.
No, Jeffrey, can you hear me? It's Isabella. You're Gucci-Coo.
And when you say your name, the thing, to the extent that it has a head, turns to face you, throws out one of its arms, and a small, I don't know what you call them, string, small bolt of lightning, a piece of electricity comes out, strikes you right dead center in the chest.
Oh, shit.
And just for a half a second, you're not in the graveyard. It's not midnight. Isabella is nowhere to be seen. You are with Jeffrey on your wedding night. And you remember you're both deliriously happy. And he's telling you how the next day he's got to go pay a call on cousin Algie. He's always working on these foolish projects, but you know how he is. He gets things in his mind and doesn't want to let them go. And he says, I know he didn't approve of the match, but darling, I'll love you forever. I'll be with you for all time.
Jeffrey, do tell me what he's up to. I love being able to catch him off guard and pretend like I know more than I do. He hates it so very much.
And he laughs and says, "Oh, I'd love to, darling, but no, he swore me to secrecy, and unfortunately, my honor as a gentleman prohibits it." And then the vision is gone, and you're back, and it looks you, as much as a cloud of nebulous gas and electricity can, looks you dead in the eye. And it says, "Isabella, dear God, it's Algae. It's his infernal machine. Get me out. Get me out."
I will, darling. I will.
And there's a clap of thunder, and he's gone.
Jeffrey! I just drop to the grave, hands down, sobbing into the ground.
Good. So what now?
Oh, Evan, that was so disrespectful. Oh.
Wow, Evan, I'm giving you my heart here, man. I'm giving you everything.
Evan is cold, dude. Evan came to this game and chose violence.
As keeper, I am the personification of a cold and indifferent cosmos. So
wow,
by the end of this, we're getting
got to be bigger than
Evan.
these puny feelings. No,
Okay.
seriously though, this is wonderful. I'm going to go be sad for a minute. And then...
Even that was cold.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously, I'm gonna go be sad.
Okay.
Isabella is you know, I think Astrid will have seen her like this before, and I think Astrid probably knows that Isabella is until further notice out of action unless she's kind of roused by Astrid for whatever reason.
I think Astrid is just going to very cautiously go to the ground with Isabella, and versus trying to pull her out of this or try to comfort her through this, I think she's just going to sit there with her through it. This isn't one of those things you can be like, well, hey, let's look on the bright side, or hey, let's form an action plan. I think this is just Astrid is just like, yep, you know what? After that, we're just going to sit through this one together. So versus trying to pull her out, she's just going to sit with her. I'm going to hold her hand, try to give her some of her power back by squeezing her hand. And when she's ready to get up and go, it looks like we need to go have a conversation with a cousin.
And Isabella, during those last moments of tears, will have told Astrid about seeing Jeffrey that moment, the wedding night, talking about cousin Algernon's secret thing that they were working on. And then we both heard, didn't we? We both heard the electric gaseous form say that infernal machine.
Yep.
Dear sister, let's pay our cousin a visit. Slow motion walk.
Badass Regency. Bam, bam,
Something
badass
blows up
wave.
in the background
Bam.
for no reason. You know.
Cool
They've got
girls don't
shotguns
look
now
at
as well.
explosions. Bam. Yeah.
So, are you going right now? Are you waiting for a reputable time of day? Are you going loaded for bear? How are you doing?
I think we're going now, like badasses, and in some kind of fantastic montage while we have to ride horses, run through streams, stop for a quick cup of tea and a sandwich, perhaps.
Yeah, I was going to say the carriage can have you there in like half an hour, but
oh yeah, and then
But we still ran through streams and stopped for tea.
Yeah.
And there was like hopping over a log. That still happened.
Yeah,
That'll
the
happen
carriage
next
like
to the
drifts
carriage.
around a
Next-
corner. Yeah.
Right. That still happened. Damn it. That's part of my montage.
It's fantastic. Yeah, you're all, loaded up.
So fantastic.
Are you bringing some of the pistols for which you are famed?
Oh, absolutely. Forever and for sure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Excellent.
Could I possibly have, if we're stopping for things, could I possibly have my trusty rapier?
Of course. And how do you wear it? Do you wear it, out displayed, or?
I think now, because of what we're doing, absolutely out on display.
Excellent.
One hand on the hilt, one hand on my tummy.
Ooh,
Fantastic.
Yes. Okay.
This one's for little Jeffrey or little Jeffrey, as the case may be.
For little Jeffrey.
Fantastic. All right, so it is, let's say, 3 a.m. when you arrive.
Ooh.
Now, he has a larger estate than you. And the gates, of course, are closed. The front gates, there's still the long drive up to the house. The front gates are closed when your carriage pulls up. Your badass carriage of stunt driving pulls up. What do you do?
Sister, it's worth me clarifying with you now. How far are we willing to push him if he chooses non-compliance?
This is Jeffrey we're talking about. We push our dear cousin over the edge if we have to. For
I
Jeffrey,
understand.
for little Jeffrey, and for Clarice.
We might want to contain her too.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
If he confesses his sins and is willing to publicly repair my poor dear husband's reputation and disappearance, having slander upon our family, then perhaps he should be allowed to maintain some status, but he has to pay.
Okay. I understand. It's nothing. It's
I don't
fine.
want to interrupt you,
Let's go.
but a watchman has been circling the property and has come around the corner of a hedge holding a lantern. No dog. They make too much noise. They wake the house. But he's, sort of an elderly chap. You've seen him around the place. And he kind of gives you one of these, which doesn't really make sense because there's nothing to shield his eyes from. But he's looking out at the carriage. It says, this old querulous voice. Hello? Hello? Who's that?
Oh, Henry.
Every bloody AM in the bloody morning.
Henry. Hi. Why
oh.
aren't you? Hi. What?
Oh,
I didn't know. He has you working this shift? I thought you stayed in the
Lady
mornings.
Beaumont, you nearly gave me my death.
Oh, Mr. Henry. When did you start working this shift?
Oh, it's just lately. We've had a few of the younger gents who've gotten married and they've been off drinking and whatnot. So it falls to me, responsible Henry.
Of course,
Yes,
responsible
yes.
Henry, dependable Henry,
Yes.
loyal
Yes.
Henry.
Now, I don't mean to be impertinent, but it is 3 a.m. Was the Lord expecting you?
How impertinent, dependable, loyal, lovely Henry.
And he, well,
My sister
it's
and I were out picnicking and lost track of time, and we thought we'd come here for respite and refuge. Not to be called impertinent, dear Henry.
Loyal and devoted Henry.
one of you want to
Caring.
make a roll here, and you can certainly tell me if this is intimidate or what here, but it sounds like it might be. Whatever you have.
I
that
feel
seems
like we're
worth-
playing good cop, bad cop very poorly off of each other on this one.
Like there's like looks between them, like which one are you? Should I?
Yeah, it's like
Me, yeah.
bad cop, moderately less bad cop.
Yeah. She'll go for a persuade. Why not?
Okay.
Ooh, thank God. 31 under 45.
Cool.
It's a little narrow. Is he okay? How's he doing after the injury?
Oh, he's fine actually. He came back and immediately proceeded with the running of the house.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Well, Henry, it was lovely to see you. Apologies that you're on this particular shift. Hopefully you'll be back onto your morning routine soon.
But please, Henry, we don't want to disturb our cousin. Please, Lord Dawson needs his sleep after such an injury. If you just let us into the house, we'll find our usual guest rooms, and you can carry on with your watch, because we wouldn't want to get you in any trouble with Lord Dawson, would we, dear sister?
No,
not devoted, loyal Henry.
and he has this look which you have seen and maybe caused before, of a a service worker who is caught between a rock and a hard place, who literally cannot win no matter what he chooses. And so with some amount of trepidation, he opens the gate rather. It squeaks a little on its hinges, and he looks like he's been shot. Please, quietly then.
Oh, thank you, Henry.
Thank you, loyal and devoted Henry.
Yeah. Regards to your mother, ma'am.
That was Louise's mother.
Oh, right.
Who no one has seen for years.
No, she's a cosmic entity of her own. We'll get to her in a later scenario.
That's the sequel.
Yeah. Everyone in the village can hear Louise's mother. No one has ever seen her. So that's actually really good.
That's actually really good.
That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
Real quick. All right. So
that's true.
the carriage rolls up. Are you going in guns blazing? Are you kind of going in quietly?
I think if loyal and devoted Henry is going to let us in, we're going to sneak in and have a nose about without waking up Lord Dawson.
Great.
Yeah, because we're used to this estate, right? We've spent a lot of time here. We've slept here. We know the areas that we've either been previously restricted from or haven't actually explored for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I'm just throwing that shit out there to see if it sticks.
I was going to suggest the restricted areas if you didn't put it out there. So there we are.
Let's see. We're right here, babe. We're here.
Right. Yep, we're here. So you pull up quietly, not a lot of noise. Henry, for lack of a better thing to do, takes on the role of a groom and tries to attend to your horse. And whenever the horse, kind of whinnies and he goes, "Quiet, you fool, don't get me fired." Sacked, I suppose. But he opens the door very quietly, very quietly. "Oh, all right then. Well, go get comfortable."
Thank you, Henry.
All right. And you go in, and it is a large estate. It is one or two orders of magnitude, one larger than yours. And Cousin Algie was always sure to point that out when the occasion came up. When you would come over and when you were girls, you'd want to go exploring, and he said, "Oh, I can't blame you with such a grand estate as this. Of course you wish to explore, but you mustn't ever go to the lower wing and the left wing, the basement of the left west, that one over there."
That one. Yep.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
No, because you were good girls, and because the servants, there were always more servants than strictly necessary, and over time they seemed to get sort of beefier. They'd be replaced by beefier dudes. People who seemed like they knew their way around some fisticuffs, and you weren't always sure what their jobs were. But just as you walked towards that wing of the house, they would sort of increase in number for no reason that you could ever really figure out.
Interesting.
Sneaking into the house now, do we see any of these beefy dudes? Do we see any of these any servants at all, in fact, at this hour, apart from wonderful Henry?
Not yet.
Dear sister, perhaps we should keep a low profile, and then in the event that we bump into someone, we plead innocence and that we would try not to disturb our good cousin. But let's forget where our room was and perhaps remember the lower left room in the basement.
I do.
We were never allowed there, even when I was here with Jeffrey and we came for dinner. They would often, emerge from the basement. I can only think what Jeffrey was talking about must be down there.
So the way I see it is we either confront our dear cousin, we go to the basement, or we corner the servant. Whatever we choose, I think we should do it together, right?
Right.
What do you think we should do start? Or where do you think we should start?
I feel like Algie is the last call. If we know what he's up to, then we know how to reprimand him for his, I think, inevitable, despicable behavior.
Okay.
Perhaps Clarice first? Or should we go and see the basement?
You were always a beautiful mind. What do you think? Call back.
Well,
That, folks, is how you do narrative structure.
good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining, guys.
Right. I don't know if we can trust Clarice, so let's go to the basement and then we'll find her after.
Okay. We'll start there and then we'll work our way backwards. We're heading to the basement.
You're heading down towards the basement.
Yep, of the left wing.
Yep. And you pass hallways that you remember, rooms that you remember, parlors, entertainments, things like that. Shelves all over, with knickknacks and things. As you get towards the basement, they take on more of a scientific quality, a bit more natural philosophy. There's some pieces he was sent from some friends of his in Greenwich, nautical timepieces, telescopes, things like that. There are some sort of frogs, pinned and bugs and things like that. It's nothing strange. But as you go towards the basement door, you see there's a light coming out. It's just ajar. And as you're heading towards it, Clarissa steps out.
This broad.
Sees you, freezes, and then quickly slams the door behind her. And it's very dark now. You can hear her kind of
run up, tap on the door.
Oh, she's between you and the door. So you'll have to...
Oh, so she shut the door behind her.
Yeah, behind
she's
her.
on our side.
She's
and then,
looking at you.
okay, and then it's her and then us.
Yeah, but it's quite dim because all the light is whatever's coming out from underneath the door.
Clarissa, it's okay. Stay calm. It's Lady Bloom and Lady Beaumont. We are family to Lord Dawson. We've met. It's okay.
Oh yes, no, you're those brilliant girls. You're the cousins. Yes, but he's you're not meant to be here. No. No, this isn't it. This you're not part of this. No.
Well, we are a part of this, Clarissa, and I think you better mind how you speak, young lady.
No, I'm sorry. I just this is no. You don't want to be here. This is look, I don't want to marry him. I don't want to be any part of this. I don't want to see the past and the future. I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay, Clarissa, calm down. Calm down, darling. It's okay. I look at Astrid.
Isabella, Astrid was 0.3 seconds from pointing the barrel of a pistol into this girl's face until she dropped the, I don't want to marry him. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want to see the past or the future. And now Astrid looks suspended in shit.
Clarice, we don't want you to marry him either. We also don't want you to see the past, present, and future. Well, possibly the present. But
just
that wasn't like a veiled threat. We're not going to kill you, Clarice. I mean, unless you warrant it, and then we will kill you. I mean, she will, but listen, Clarice, we are on your side. Whatever's going on here, we are here to stop it and save you. So, Clarice, what is going on?
Hey, come with me. I'll show you, but you've got to help me, and you can't tell anyone ever. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Brownie's on her.
And she looks around and opens the door just the barest crack, so that she can slip in, and she goes down the stairs to the basement.
Really fast, Evan. Can I get a psychology check on her really fast?
Sure.
See how much I actually believe her. Guys, I'm only rolling under a 30 here. Let's see how... Literal 30. Literal 30 on under 30.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is
wow.
As far as you can tell for a, like 14, 15-year-old girl, this is authentic.
Okay.
She is spooked and not happy about things.
Okay. She'll throw her sister a cautious look and head down.
Isabella will follow.
As you get down, you start going down the stairs and you hear sort of a buzzing sound.
Uh-oh.
And you feel, Isabella, again, you feel your arm hairs prickling up. And it has that same smell like a thunderstorm.
Ooh.
And you get down there into this room, and it's a fairly large room. You're not sure spatially how it fits with the rest of the basement, but it is lined with the very most modern instruments. You would both, I think, know this because of your well-read and interested nature in experiments in the galvanic fluid, sort of electrical experiments. These big like metal poles with electricity.
Is this mad science going on?
And in the center of the room, pointed up at apparently nothing in the ceiling, is what for all intents and purposes looks like a telescope. But there's all kinds of electric leads and wires and things in it. And a little like a little and like a little
hilarious.
box beneath it, which has kind of stacks of paper in it. No, it doesn't have stacks of paper. It has cylinders sort of shaped like an hourglass. That's improv, baby. So, and she said, "This is his project. This is how he knows that I've married him, or will marry him, or will have, I don't know." And we were working on it with Jeffrey, with your husband, ma'am. And something went wrong, and he vanished. He vanished.
Clarissa, are you saying that this can move time forward and backward? That's what you're saying. That's what our cousin believes, because this is clearly insane. But that's what you're saying he believes.
It's something, I don't know if we move time or we can see it. Yeah.
How do you move time backwards, Clarice?
Oh, here, come. You sure you want to do this?
Whoa. Sister.
But Jeffrey, we could save Jeffrey.
Maybe we shouldn't start playing with time without a little bit more information. Just as a thought.
That goes
Darling
on the
sister,
too.
if there was one chance to give my child its father, this is it. You're not going to deny me that chance, are you, dear sister?
That opportunity might come with risks that we don't understand.
I am willing to risk it all.
Is her name Clarice or Clarissa? Because I've been doing both.
I think it started out as Clarissa.
Okay. Hello, Clarice. Okay.
Clarice.
Whatever. We'll go either way.
Let's go with Clarice.
Sorry, I don't even know what I've been calling her. What did I call her?
Clarice. It's fine.
Clarice. Oh, I love both.
Clarice.
Improv games.
Right. Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
How long have they been up to this?
Just I don't know. It's a year, 6 months before he married you, or married your sister.
Okay, so this telescope thing that I'm looking at right now, it's staring at a ceiling. Is that where he's seeing into the future or the past? What is he looking at in this?
Yeah, I think you can point it at anything, really. It doesn't really matter. It's all what goes on inside.
Okay, and at some point
is there an eye hole to look through?
Oh, yes. God. There's actually, it's sort of a leather, like, kind of thing. And it looks like there's two lenses inside, like the stereograph things, if you've ever seen those. So it's sort of two things that you're looking through, and the eyepiece completely will cover your top of your head here, top of your face.
Okay.
If Astrid is busy talking,
she is.
To Clarice, Clara, I will
just added another name.
Just shimmy on over and have a little look-see if I can see anything.
As you approach the thing, the buzzing seems to step up a half tone, like it's excited for you to come to it. You feel a a little weird. You feel like a little bit like you've been like you know the pins and needles, like when your foot falls asleep, but everywhere.
Oh.
Is that going to deter you? Do you want to stop?
No,
Do you want to turn around?
This is Jeffrey. Jeffrey is doing this. He's giving me a sign. He's giving me a signal.
So you step forward, you put your eyes on the thing, and I want you to make a power roll.
Ooh, that is a 0-4.
Oh,
Okay.
bravo.
You are driving this train, baby. You are ready to go. You know how to move it past. You know how to move it forward. You understand that you can look at any moment in time as it happened in relation to this machine. There's knobs, there's things to fiddle with. You feel like you totally know what you're doing here.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna roll it back to, I guess, the morning, or I'm just gonna roll it back to the day of Jeffrey's death, but before, obviously, he died.
Sure. And so you see a couple of scenes, which we're going to skip past in some speed here. First, you see Jeffrey and cousin Algie having an argument, and Clarice is in the corner, and cousin Algie is saying, "Well, I don't see why I have to wait. I've seen in the machine. We'll be married in 3 years' time. What's the delay?" And he's saying, "No, you can't do that. She's a child. She has to make her own decisions. You can't use this machine that way. Cousin, can't you see?" I don't know if he calls him cousin. I don't know how you all are related, but
Yeah.
he and they're really furious. And then Algie says, "Well, fine, fine. Let's have it your own way. Let's get back to the study." And he's got a pile of notes, and it's an hour later, and Jeffrey's got his eyes in the thing, and he's looking around into the future. He says, "All right, let me look, a year in the future." And he's doing it. And while he's doing it, Algie leans over
Uh-oh.
and kind of jiggles a couple of the cables that are connected to it. And there's this horrendous crash of lightning. The entire middle of the room fills with blinding white light. It clears. Jeffrey is gone. And there's a hourglass shaped piece of metal that is smoking in the box under the thing. Algie turns around to Clarice and gives her a really cold look. And he says, "We'll bury that. You'll speak not a word of this, or it's your life." And then there's this kind of strange moment where you feel like every particle of your body is at a different point on the timeline. You simultaneously live out every moment of your life, but you can't sort them out, and you can't figure out what's quite real and what's quite false. And then there's a little, you come off the machine, and I'm going to need a SAN roll from you.
Holy cow.
Ooh. That is a fail, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Just
Tell me
a
what
standard
happens.
fail. I think as she steps away from the machine, yeah, her hand goes to her stomach, and she's just seen every moment of her life flashing through her, and she almost feels, not that it's happening, but she feels the memory of giving birth, of growing old, being young, and it's just interspliced with each other in these completely unlinear moments, and it just causes a severe mental discombobulation, and also a severe physical pain, not literally, nothing that would hurt the child, but something that's almost like a memory of pain.
Yeah. And
Wow.
one memory comes clear to you as you're descending into this sort of discombobulation. You remember it was when Jeffrey was courting you, and you had fallen deeply in love. And you had asked him a few times why he chose you, and he never answered really. And this one time you knew he'd come this time to ask for your hand, and you knew that you were going to say yes. And you said, Jeffrey, it feels like we're fated to be together. And for the first and maybe only time in your lives together, he looked angry, and he pulled back and got cold, and he said, no, no, I've chosen you. Fate has nothing to do with it.
Damn.
And then we come back to the present. Astrid, what are you up to?
I think Astrid was in rapid fire questioning of Clarice, Clara, Courtney. What were the circumstances that Jeffrey disappeared? How long has he been at this? X, Y, and Z, before she realizes in her peripheral vision that her sister has pulled back from this contraption. She missed it entirely because she was doing her whole investigative inquiry thing. She wasn't paying attention to her little sister. And she knows Isabella does silly shit like this. So I think she's going to immediately run over to her and have her hand on her face and on her chin. And she's trying to shake her. She's trying to snap her back into it. She's trying to get her present. Hey, Isabella? Isabella.
She's kind of coming out of like a momentary kind of convulsion, eyes just kind of now beginning to focus again. Astrid, I've seen it all. Cousin Algernon, he did this. He killed Jeffrey, and he threatened that girl.
Cumberbatch.
We're
that one was for me. That one was for me.
But he threatened her, forcing her into marriage, saying that he'd seen things, that he'd seen the future. But he did, sister. I have seen the future, and I've seen the past. I've seen what he did to Jeffrey. He killed Jeffrey. He must be stopped, otherwise he will hurt more people. He will control more people's lives. This thing needs to be stopped, and he needs to be stopped.
And I think she's working with you. She's listening to you. She's getting affirmation from Courtney, Clarice, Cassandra. And I think at one point she's just going to put her hand on either side of your face, and she's going to dip down because she's taller than you. And she's going to look like, tell me what you need me to do.
We need to get cousin down here and confront him with his truth and show him that there is no such thing as fate.
I think she's going to turn.
Yeah,
she's going to look at Clarice, and she's going to say, run.
She does. She takes off up the stairs. You hear the door open. You hear her thud into something solid and fleshy.
Oh, well.
And the stomp of boots.
That's our bet.
As guys start to troop on down, one of them holding her one hand over the mouth, lifted off. Let's say 5 or 6 guys. And at the tail of them, dressed for some reason like he was ready to go out. And standing up. So let's see Algie, not in his disheveled state. He is tall. He has a regal bearing. He looks extremely cold. He has big, like Gandalf eyebrows, which when you were younger used to really intimidate both of you. You had, used to run away from him. And he comes down now at the back of this line of bruisers and stares at you both with these eyebrows. Says, well, what brings you here for a social visit?
Do we get the sense that he knows exactly what's going on, and we know exactly what's going on? This isn't like
it's
this is just villainy pleasantries, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will remove my rapier. And I will point it at each one of the... How many of the footmen are there?
Let's say 6. You guys can take 6, right?
I hope.
I'm going to point at the 3 on the right and say, I've just seen the future. And if you don't get out of here, my sister is going to put you in your graves. You 3, stay. It's time to dance.
And Astrid,
And-
sorry, I keep...
Sorry,
Yeah,
actively ignoring our cousin because we know that he would hate it.
Newman, that was so fucking badass and cool. Oh my god, I'm here for it so much. I think Astrid is gonna pull out not one but both of her pistols. She's got one in the right hand, one in the left, and she's just tapping them on the outside of her knee. She's glaring down the face of her cousin.
Well, he says, do what you like, but I have other things to do. And he reaches, all right, I hope this works. He reaches into his belt and pulls off a smaller version of the sort of metal hourglass looking thing that you saw drop into the thing, into the basket beneath the telescope. And he throws it at your feet, the two of you. And there's this feeling of incredible nausea. The world goes white. Everything crackles. And when you come to, you're in the graveyard again. And you feel like you really have to throw up.
So she does.
And a sand check from both would be helpful.
That's big fair.
29.
12.
I eat time travel for breakfast.
Right.
Yeah. And it's dark. And there's that electric feeling in the air again.
Right, sister, this was us. We were here. This was us. We've been here. I felt this. We've been here. Jeffrey is about to show up.
And you hear footsteps running down the path of the rectory towards you. And it's Clarice. She said, oh God, you're here. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
Was this you?
Oh, thank God.
Did you do this?
I've been sneaking out every night. It's been a year.
A year since we were with you.
Yes. Oh, God.
I'm going to check my tummy.
Same as before.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't curiously have memories of a year. You don't have a year's worth of memories.
Where is
the last thing you remembered? He's where's who? Sorry, what was the question?
cousin Algie, Lord Dawson?
Oh, he doesn't know I'm here. He's gone on as normal. Everyone thinks you're dead. But Jeffrey, you see, we buried one of those things, the mechanism.
The little contraption?
Yeah, that Algie threw at you. The night that Jeffrey disappeared, they buried it.
Sister.
I'll go get the shovels. And she's going to take off.
And
montage.
Yeah,
montage.
Montage.
And
I think we're close enough to end that we can wrap it up, right?
Yeah, yeah. This has been spectacular.
Dig into the thing, splinter through the coffin lid, empty except for a metallic-looking hourglass. Who picks it up? Or does anyone pick it up?
I'll hold my sister's hand as I pick it up.
That's some petty shit, Newman. You're gonna go, you go, we go with 20 minutes left in the game. That's fine. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Fingers entwined and all, boo. Let's go.
I am sitting on a fence and it is comfortable.
You go, we go. Let's do it.
As you reach for it, more electricity crackles, comes up to meet your fingers, but it feels familiar. It feels like Jeffrey's hand when he used to hold your hand. As you make contact with the metal, you can hear his voice calling to you. What do?
Go towards him.
Yeah. One last blinding flash of light. And he's there. And you have quite a mess to clean up socially when the sun comes up. And I think we'll leave it there.
Holy shit. Is that and Friends of the Symphony? That's where our show ends for tonight?
I think that's it.
Wow. Jeffrey's going to be a father.
And that, Friends of the Symphony, is where our show ends for the night. Wow. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in. Chat, you're all fired, just so you know. Thank you for everyone who joined in and or is currently watching the replay, especially chat, and Rena, you especially. You guys are indeed the best part of waking up, and we sincerely appreciate you. My nervous system is in the red so hard right now, like my hands are slippery. Let's do this giveaway, which allegedly I should be able to do.
Thank you guys so much. This was real fun.
Oh, babe, this was amazing.
Cool. Evan, thank you. Fun. Really, really cool.
Speak of the devil and they will arrive.
Look at you.
Hey.
Hey. Oh my God. Rena from Bedrest just won the complimentary copy of Debutantes Dagon. Rena, I will touch base with Evan, and Evan will make sure that they get that over to you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Wow. Okay, so before we empty out the auditorium, let's go around the room one more time, starting with Newman, and tell us again, baby, who you are, where people can find you, and some of the awesome things that you do.
I'm T.A. Newman. I'm the host of the Miskatonic Playhouse, where we play community content. So if you've written something for Miskatonic Repository, send it through to us, miskatonicplayhouse@gmail.com. I'm also a writer myself, so I've got 3 best-selling scenarios. I've got The Prisoner's Dilemma, Secret Santa, and Be My Valentine, which can be purchased as print on demand or PDF, or as a collection in the Albion's Ruins series. And I also read fortunes with fake results. If anybody's interested to personally DM me, it's about £100 a reading.
Bravo. And Evan, you bastard.
I am Evan Perlman. I am a very highly prepared keeper who's just been improvising a scenario for 2 hours. So I'm going to go think about my life for a little while. But thank you guys so much. I write for Chaosium and Call of Cthulhu. I apparently am a streamer now.
Yes, the hell you are, and a good one, boo.
In all kinds of fun ways. So look my stuff up on DriveThruRPG. Come find me on Facebook. Come find me on Discord. Or look into that strange telescope in your parents' basement, and perhaps you'll see where we meet in the future.
Oh, my drop line. Somebody put it on the quote board. Amazing. Newman, thank you. Evan, thank you. Chat and replay, we love you guys. As a reminder, you can help us make more content like this by backing us on Patreon. That is going to be at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. You can also follow us on our socials. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram and Facebook for leads on future content. We do have a Symphony Sonata this upcoming Saturday with Matt, who is in the chat right now, getting on my nerves and needs to be sent home, and Symphony's previous producer, Alex. That will be 60 minutes of improvised horror. I will literally sit down. I will ask chat a bunch of questions. They will inform the story. We will perform the chaos, and it'll be a mess. And unless I drop a weird ball somewhere, we should be streaming Cult Divinity Lost, the Lorraine Estate, next Saturday. We're pretty sure that's still on.
Wow.
I'm like 99% sure, but we're going to see what happens there. If not, it might get bumped back into April, but pray about it. We'll figure out what happens from there. Guys, per usual, thank you for everything that you do that makes everything that we do possible. We hope you have enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Mwah. This is where Bucho would usually do angel face while I tell him to like F off and die as I try to move to the outro screen and see if our audio actually cuts off. Bye, guys. Have a great night.